What's up, YouTubers? It's your boy C, once again coming to you from outer space in FEMA Region 4 of the now 1/3 restricted zone for another episode of C's Retro Garage, and this is Pedal Commander. Okay, so what we're looking at here is this is my 2010 Chevy Camaro. And again, if I've never mentioned it before, or if you didn't see the video with the strut tower brace, this is the 3.0-liter V6. I've had this car pretty much since day one. You can tell by the steering wheel. This is a 2010. I think 2011 also had this same thick wheel. You can see it's a big, thick wheel. By 2012, I believe, is when they changed the rear tail lights, and they put the more generic GM wheel with the Chevy logo and the smaller grips that you can literally like wrap your hand around. But as you can see, this is a standard guy here. Now with this guy, some of you probably wondering, why now? Why do this upgrade? Why do this now? What's the purpose of the upgrade? Well, it's simple. I had a Corvette, and I actually had two Corvettes, and those were my babies. This was more at the time of a daily driver, and then had a baby, sold both vets, but you still don't stop being who you are. So I put, and not for nothing, but I've been doing little mods here and there from pretty much from the beginning with this car for the last 10 years. So this is my baby now. I seldom drive it. Still pretty much love driving it, enjoy it immensely. I know for those, usually you get the V6 haters out there, well, you should have got the V8. Well, you couldn't get it at the time. At least not where I was. And this came out first, and I got one hell of a deal on it. So, WTF to your V8. Plus, if you're still hung up about the whole V8 thing, you could see plenty of guys have modded these guys out. And they're running into 12s without any type of forced induction whatsoever, and with forced induction you're getting into 11s. So there, okay, you want to go spend money on the V8, you go right ahead and pay more insurance. Most important is to be happy with what you got. So the Pedal Commander, well, let's talk about the Pedal Commander. Basically what it does, it doesn't, though, depending on your point of view, it increases horsepower, but it doesn't really. It just make you think that by reducing some, in theory, I guess you could consider it parasitic power loss, which is similar to having the car lose a few pounds here and there, or changing out drive shafts with a much lighter drive shaft, changing out pulleys, changing out sway bars, things like that, to reduce the parasitic power loss. That's basically taking the power that you're already producing and putting more of it down to the pavement. Since torque is power, that's real power. They like to sell you on horsepower because it sounds cool. Horsepower, oh yeah, right? But that's not real. Your real power comes from your torque. Always remember, torque gets you off the line, and horsepower gets you over the line. Now, with that being said, what we're going to do is install the Pedal Commander. Its true function is to reduce the throttle lag, and anybody who has not just this car, but it's pretty much any new car will notice the throttle lag. that's when you mash the pedal and there's like a good split second where it feels like you have a dead spot. Some cars claim it's the throttle body that causes the lag, that it's needs to be ported over a little bit more. Pedal Commander claims that they can fix that problem. Basically what it's doing is it's tricking the throttle into opening sooner by upping the voltage a little. So we're gonna go ahead and install it. Give it a try. It's not that hard. The instructions for the Pedal Commander are pretty simple. The only thing they really truly do ask for in the beginning is to turn off your car, pull your keys out, remove the fob with 35 feet away from your car, and leave the door open for 10 to 15 minutes so that the ECM could shut off. ECM, ECU, whatever you want to call it, so the computer can shut itself off. So you saw the light was on. So what we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to follow those instructions. Instructions are pretty simple. Like I said, do that. You turn off your car, open your door, leave it open 10-15 minutes, get the key fob 35 feet away. Down below is going to be your accelerator. We're going to get to the accelerator, unhook it, plug in the Pedal Commander, install the Pedal Commander. That's all there is to it. And then play around with the Pedal Commander. That's really the fun part of it. So we're going to step out of the car. It takes a good 10-15 minutes, but thanks to the magic of video. Okay, so this is the throttle. Again, thanks to the magic of video, we're 15 minutes ahead. So the throttle here, this is going to be disconnected. So use your flathead kind of there. Should be able to hear it. Click there. And once you get this off, which we'll go ahead and do since we need the use of both hands, we'll take a pic, see what it looks like. So there's the plug right there, unplugged. So all you really got to do is when you get your Pedal Commander, as you can see here, one is going to go on the actual throttle. The other one's like a bypass. So these should clip right into one of each other. When you hear the click, you know you're there. Let me see if I can. I wish I could hold this a little bit better. Unfortunately, I don't have a tripod or anything to hold it. So what we'll do is we'll take a stab at doing it. One-handed here. I heard that click. That's click number one. This one here, this is going to be the part here that goes right up here. I don't know if you heard that click, but I sure as hell felt it. And then the little part on top comes down. You can see right there, it's pretty snug. Yep, that's it. Okay, so now it's time to route this thing. So now we can actually get our heads out of our ass. Okay, so here we got the Pedal Commander. It's pretty much hooked up. The only other instructions that are on here basically just is, securing, routing. If there's any issue with that, use some zip ties. I'm guessing the general spot is here. Probably for most people, this is what makes the most sense, because it just conveniently, there's this hole here, which I'm guessing, I've seen originally nameplates go there. I'm guessing originally they probably had a thought of maybe a push start, push button start, ignition. Maybe that's why that hole was there. Maybe it was a screw up maybe, I don't know, old Holden parts. Who the hell knows, man? They all recycle parts. They all reuse parts from whatever. That's pretty much it. But what I thought, and if you're an RS owner, you don't have this problem. But those of us that are not, and again, I've had this car from day one, so it wasn't available at the time I bought it. I got a hell of a deal on it. That's why I got it. I always thought that the tray here looks, I mean, it's alright, right? It's nothing out of the ordinary, not unusual. But, boy, in the RS, man, it, even though really what you got, when you get there in the gauges, you can have right here, you know, over here. I thought, you know, this might be a cool place to actually put the Pedal Commander. Like, why not? You know, give it a little something, a little life that it didn't have before. So, let's first figure that out. Let's see what we could do, what kind of magic we can pull to make this thing kind of be a little more alive. Okay, so what we're gonna need to do this is gonna be 4 of these little L brackets. This is what one of them looks like straightened. So you got to take 2 of them, flatten them out with a hammer, best you can, and then we got these guys which will bend a little bit to kind of fit our needs. But these guys, with just your standard little shorty, just standard little collection, little shorty little nuts and bolts there, should do the trick for what we're gonna do. And if you can get yourself some very, very, very skinny zip ties, that'll work as well, and I'll show you why. Okay, so what we're gonna need to do this is gonna be 4 of these little L brackets. This is what one of them looks like straightened. So you got to take 2 of them, flatten them out with a hammer, best you can, and then we got these guys which will bend a little bit to kind of fit our needs. But these guys, with just your standard little shorty, standard little collection, little shorty little nuts and bolts there, should do the trick for what we're gonna do. And if you could get yourself some very, very, very skinny zip ties, that'll work as well, and I'll show you why. Okay, so what you do is you kind of play around with the angle that you want. In this case, you kind of want an angle where it's staring up at you just a little bit, but not kind of obnoxiously. Because if you figure this is where, you know, what you're going to be seeing right here. So here's the Pedal Commander bracket. It's going to, you know, sit right about there. You just play around with this angle. This is just a kind of predetermined angle, I should say, that I kind of guessed at. Probably you can always bend this a little up, a little down, but there's a reason why this has a little bit of height to it. And the reason this has a little bit of height to it, this is your standard shit holder, as I call it, for the Camaro. So it's got a little bit of height to it, because assuming we take our friend the Pedal Commander here, as you can see now when you compare the two, actually, like this, okay. Look how this sits in here, like this, right? This is crap. So you want to give it a little bit of height, give it a little bit more respect, okay. When you look at the bracket, even with the bracket, it sits in here where the ridge of the shit holder kind of covers the Commander, okay? Assuming you were staring at it this way, which you're not, you're really looking at it like this. Now, you don't want to put it flat because that would look really stupid. So you kind of want to make it cool. This is a P4. If you got the Bluetooth one, even nicer, it's cooler looking. And remember, this is aesthetics. It's just looks cooler just because it has that bright Bluetooth light that lights up. This one does not. It's the same dog, different collar. This one strictly controlled here versus the other one you can control with your phone. Now the reason I said use skinny zip ties is because if you take a look, there's really just not a whole lot of space here for the head of a screw. It has to be a flat screw. Flat-headed screws are generally the type of screws that are made to go into things. Obviously, we're not going to drill this onto any part of the dash. We're going to have it sit on these brackets. And the reason we're going to do that is because I would never drill into my freaking dash, number one. And number two, the brackets, just to give it a little something, give a little coolness. So that's why we use the little skinny zip ties. Something like that. It's very, very thin. Simply because it's going to allow the Pedal Commander to clip into place. I've tried the screws that we used for these guys here. The head on this is just way too big, and you're not going to find anything that's made for that. Closest thing I would have, for example, to show, if we were to take the Pedal Commander bracket here, this screw is for like a door hinge. You see, that's perfectly flat. That would be perfect. But here's your problem right there. That's the type of screws that flatheads usually are. The type of screws that are meant to be screwed in, making it a screw. These are not screws, they're bolts. So therefore, that's not going to work. The heads are rarely ever flat. Yeah, you can find some. I found a few, and generally they're just a little too short. And those are the ones that come in your wall plates. A lot of times you can take them right apart. If you got spare ones laying around, I just happen to have spare ones. You could take those wall plates and you could make an effort, but the nuts on them are just, the screws, the bolts on them are just too short. They don't catch well, they don't tighten well, and it's just not going to work. This is easier using this system with the zip ties. So let's go ahead and do it. Well, as you can see, I kind of had a change of heart and went ahead and painted the brackets black anyway. It just looks so much cooler. But I do stand corrected. There are screws that are just flat enough that you can screw these on instead of zip tying them. The only issue, even still, you still get that tiny little bit of a gap. But as you can see, it still, holds in place pretty well on the mounting bracket here. And actually, if you look at it, it kind of gives it a pretty cool little angle upward, which is not too bad. So let's go ahead and pop it on there and see how it looks now. Now here is the Pedal Commander actually sitting there. If you remember earlier, we made the brackets. So you got to remember, I'm going to give it like a slight tilt. Probably put it about there. Maybe a little here. Also, it gives you a reason not to put shit on the shit holder. Because I've seen so much shit on the shit holder. It, makes your car look dirty. And if you want to put it straight, you can. Again, remember, this is going to be as best as you can, really. And then it's how you want to kind of situate this. I think back here looks it kind of gets lost. In the middle, it's okay, I guess. Somewhere a little bit off center, but then we'll secure these the wire down for the Pedal Commander and secure this down to the shit holder. I'm gonna go ahead and use the Velcro. Double stick would probably work as well. Make sure you use 3M, that's the better shit. And then we'll go from there. Alright, I'm gonna have to play with it a little bit. The double stick, for example, doesn't go well, but hopefully that'd give you an idea of what it kind of looks like. I got to find a better solution with the wire to tighten it up. This panel unscrews. This one actually here clips off. You can actually just pop it right off. It'd be nice to be able to tuck this up in here, but this wire's pretty thick, so that's not going to be much of an option. Short of maybe, and again, I stress this is all on you, how anal you are. If you could drill real small holes with a Dremel and then run a zip tie through it to kind of hold this in place. Just remember, once you do it, that's it. They're there forever. Pedal Commander will sit here. The Velcro is probably going to work better. I just use the double stick just to kind of get through it already. But the double stick sucks, so don't use the double stick. So anyway, we'll go ahead and hold it if we have to. But let's go ahead and pop the key in. It's probably going to fall over. Who cares? But pop the key in. And there he goes. Falling over. No biggie. But we'll go ahead and start it up. And you're seeing it right there. So right there it's set to sport mode. And then you could go through the different modes here. 1, 2, 3, 4. City mode. Economy mode. Now this one, from my understanding, is the one that really sucks. Is economy mode. It's basically just a gas saver, and it actually makes your pedal even more dead than before. City saves you a little bit more gas. Sport is a little more fun, and then Sport Plus is kind of more balls to the wall. So as you can see, we're going up to Sport 2 here. You can go 3, 4, and that's as far as it's going to go there. I think this is an on-off button. I'm not 100% sure. I can find out. Oh, that's to switch it. Okay, now we don't. Well, that looks like that's the off button, right? There's the city, there's sport. Okay. So there we go. We put them in the different sport modes. So this can shut it off. Looks like the lights went off after I held it long enough. But it also is the selector for go, city, sport. And then depending on the mode you want to go, I'm going to take a guess that the negative side is probably going to be in economy mode. It's going to read it backward. I could care less, honestly. There's the plus and the minus. And then it's just a matter of securing this guy. And, it doesn't sound any different. It ain't going to feel any different right now. We're going to have to take a test drive. But I'll go ahead and finish the install. We're just testing it, making sure it works. You can see it, really, there's no difference there. And then, it fell over again. Dumb thing. So, mental note. Double stick tape does not work. It will not work. So we can try this applied Velcro, and then if that doesn't work, then we have no choice but to, secure to either the shit holder, or maybe even take a Dremel, very gently, just kind of pop through there. Some very, very tiny screws that'll hold this in place. But what do you think? I mean, it definitely adds a little something, to the otherwise bland and boring shit holder. So, kind of, and nothing's going to replace the gauges, okay? I mean, the thing of the gauges, they kind of stack. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're kind of here. They look kind of cool. I mean, this is also an option. If you want to sit them here, that's kind of cool, I guess. The bracket originally, remember, it would sit, if I can pop this guy off real quick, it would have sat somewhere about here, which looks pretty lame. Now, I guess for some people that'd be okay. You could have it here. It's just sitting here. It's no big deal. But we just kind of wanted to make it a little bit more of a permanent install without making it permanent. So you could sit it here. Put it. You could center it. Or to put it back on the bracket here. And mind you, remember, this is screwed. These are bolted, so they need to be tight. They're a little loose right now on purpose. So I guess you could kind of have it there. Give it a little bit of an angle. Since you're the driver. Who gives a shit about the passenger? It's got to look cool to you. So put it there. If you want to center it a little more, you can put it there. Give a little more slack to the cable. The cable's really not in the way. If you see where my foot is, there's nothing in the way. It literally just tucks away. So this is pretty much a wrap for this segment. The only other thing left to do would be to do a before and an after comparison of the Pedal Commander, but that's pretty much a wrap. Alright, so there is the Pedal Commander. Let me go ahead and just turn off the flash so you can see it bright and pretty. I went ahead and just used the Velcro that Pedal Commander provides. Works very good. Now look, now it stands nice and firm, sturdy. I want to take a look at the wire. I do got to clean these floor mats, man. They are dirty. And then this, we just kind of adjust here. justice here with probably using the same Velcro. Their glue is freaking spectacular, man. It is awesome. It sticks like nobody's business. So that's kind of the look you're gonna get right there. It'll just kind of stare at you, look at you, give it a little bit extra. Make sure you cut it in case you decide this isn't where you want to put it and you want to move it a little bit. That's fine. But you know, choose wisely, because you only get about 2 more shots at this. So why Pedal Commander? Why not Solar or Solaire or Vitesse, K&N, Hypertech? Well, there's another one that I can't remember. Why not Hypertech, for example? Hypertech's expensive as hell. That's why. Not that Pedal Commander's cheap brand new. I mean, this thing is what, $300 brand new? Now, you can get these P4s now on sale for $200. For 2 reasons, I went with Pedal Commander. A, I got a hell of a deal. I mentioned that earlier. B, one thing, a little slang term called limp mode, which some of the other ones that I mentioned, Solaire, Vitesse, not anything from K&N. K&N is just, you know, it's the name you know, you trust, it works well from everything I've read. It just looks corny as shit, man. I mean, all you get is a freaking little knob that you turn, no different than the dial on your radio. You really have no idea what the hell you're doing other than click, 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 and click the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, it just this is where it's at, man. For those of you that don't know what limp mode is, it is when there's some miscommunication between the throttle and the throttle controller, and all of a sudden, basically, it feels like your car is dead. Like you step on the gas and nothing happens. Probably scary as shit. That's happened to me once before, and it wasn't the throttle controller, but it's the feeling for those of you guys with older vehicles that know if you ever had a transmission slip, when it slips, and then you're pretty much screwed. At that point, it's called a tow truck. There has been a lot of good reviews, but several bad reviews from the Vitesse as far as throwing your car into limp mode. There's been a few with the Solaire, or Solar, whatever the hell they call themselves, even though they're the cheapest, but they've actually had less, and they actually will address it. I haven't heard Vitesse ever come out and address that. Other people just kind of live with it. Haven't heard anything negative about the other 2, Hypertech and K&N, but Pedal Commander's the other one that I have never heard anybody complain about it going to limp mode. So this will be it. This is your install. This is the end. As you can see, you know, it does add a little something cool. If I was to turn off the flash, okay, nice and dark. And when you open the car, see that? It's just adding a little something extra. If you have the Bluetooth version, then you have the bright Bluetooth light that just sticks there. The Bluetooth one is just, you never have to actually touch this thing. You can just completely sync it with your phone and make the changes with your phone versus having to do it by hand. But that's about it. Other than that, like I said, same dog, different collar. And that's pretty much it as far as Pedal Commander. We'll have to do a review on the before and the after. Put that out there. But as always, you know, thank you for your support. Thank you for tuning in. Be ye kind one to another, and peace out.